Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad and the tip of the day. I'm Steve, and glad you can join me. In tip of the day number 24, we looked at programming, test track, and the optimal weight on your rolling stock and how I weight my cars. I used this Burlington gondola as the example and mentioned that I had new wheel sets, had changed the coupler boxes, etc. Well, this is a review. I'll see. I AHM, and so is this one. Okay, you got the Burlington and you got a Southern. I'm going to go ahead and you can look at this maybe, and you can see it's got horn hook couplers mounted to the trucks or wheel set. All right, so we're going to put a coupler box on it. We're going to change the wheel sets out, and we're going to weight it down and go from there. All right, so switch our view. There we go. I've got the gondola there, the scale. I've got a couple of trucks here. I've got some metal wheels. I need to get another pair of those over here. I've got some tools. So let's get to work. As I mentioned before in tip of the day number 24, Refurbishing are pinned on, okay, and they just come unpinned very easily, just like that. When I say pinned, you can see that little pin that goes through the truck and holds it to the body. And so now we're left without wheels or couplers. Whoop. Let's take that load out of there. We don't need it back on yet. Take the back one off. Got it done. And now we're down to just a bare shell of a gondola. Alright. Next thing we need to do is get our coupler boxes and get those ready to go. Alright. And where did I put them? I always keep all kinds of spare parts. And as an example, here's a whole tray of coupler box parts. So we're going to take 2 of these. Two boxes and 2 covers. Let's set those out of the way. We're going to need 4 screws. I know because we did the other car. Alright, that these are the screws I'm going to need. Round head screws, 2-56 by 3/8 inch. And you get 24 per pack. And they're Athearn part number 99004. So I'm going to need 4 of those, 1 for each of the coupler boxes and 1 for each truck. I've got other size screws in there, but these both work, or happen to be the right ones. I tried the others when I did the other gondola. There's 3 and 1 more. Okay. So there's my screws, my boxes, still need 1 more wheel. Let's get to work. Gonna need my pin vise. Just a little drill. I already have the right sized bit in it. So next thing I want to do is drill through and we may have an issue with this. because there may be steel in there. I may actually need a bigger screw. Take the body off of this so we can get in there and take a look. Yeah, there's a weight in here that just happens to be in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this weight out, and we're going to end up putting it inside the gondola. Alright, and as you saw in tip number 24, we'll use weights. But anyway, this will allow us to drill into the plastic and get those screws set. Alright. Otherwise, unlike they're slightly different construction. There was the base of that other gondola, the underside carriage did not come off. The internal bed on the Burlington gondola came off. So what that did was it gave enough plastic for the screws on the Burlington to grip. Whereas this one, that pin holding the trucks in, was such that made the hole too big for these screws. And I really hate to put bigger screws in. There we go. Alright, so I got my hole drilled for this. Alright, but before I do that, we're gonna put, and we gotta trim this out for the coupler box. Alright, which is no big deal. Alright, an X-Acto, and poof, there we go. And we should be good to go with that. Test fit on it, make sure the box fits, and it does. We're going to put a dab of super glue, even though that's not what ultimately is going to hold the box. Alright, it is what we're going to use to hold it in place while we get this box fitted properly. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. You do want to make sure these coupler boxes are as close to center as possible. And lined up plumb. Okay, so got both boxes sitting, got one truck screw drilled out properly. Let's do the other one. Then we'll drill holes for the through the coupler boxes. This whole process it's not complicated. It's just a matter of having the parts you need and the tools you need. And from one piece of rolling stock to another, it can vary. The biggest thing after you get the new trucks mounted and the coupler boxes and the couplers in them, Then it's a matter of getting the height. When I did the Burlington, it was perfect. I didn't have to do any adjustments to the box. I will have another tip of the day on how to adjust coupler heights, and coupler heights are very important. Not only for trip pin clearance, I'll show you how to, in another one, how to adjust the trip pins, but also for when you go through grade changes. You start up a hill, come down a hill. The couplers can vary as the train is going up a hill, and all of a sudden one levels out. If they're not perfect, you can have a slip, and all of a sudden you have your train or cars come uncoupled. So it's very important you get a coupler gauge and adjust your couplers to the right height. And again, I'll go into more detail on that in another tip of the day. All right, let's get back to this one. So, all right. Here's an old wheel set. This is not the ones I took off. Notice the difference. All right. I've got one with a coupler and one without. Okay, we're putting the coupler boxes on the car itself, so we won't use these. Okay, and I don't like them. I don't like these anyway. Okay, but issue with these are, and these come, you can get all different kinds. This one's actually used, came off of a different car, a car that I'm not going to use for a number of reasons. And I got two of them. Actually, I'll show you the reason. I have a box, one of my boxes filled with old train cars. Alright? And one of them is part of the old Army train deal. And I've taken the trucks off of this one because I'm not going to ever put this on this layout. Okay. And the truck frame itself is good. It's plastic. I know a lot of people prefer metal frame trucks. I've had issues with metal frame trucks with metal wheels and creating arcing and shorts. So I just elect not to use metal frame trucks. I do use metal frame wheels. Okay? But anyway, it's easy. Take these off. They just come right off. And I put one of the metal ones on. Okay, now these are blackened metal, Katie blackened metal wheel sets. Wheel sets come primarily in two sizes. Okay, they come in 36 and 33s. And matter of fact, let me show you something. Okay. These are Bachmann wheel sets. There's numerous different manufacturers have different wheel sets, but you notice this one here is 36-inch wheels. Okay, and this one is 33-inch wheels. Now, why does that matter? That is, you can change wheel size to help adjust your coupler height. On your KD coupler gauge. So, ones I have here right now are 36 inches. Are they going to be the right ones? I don't know. We'll find out. I've got 33s if I need them. Okay, so I'm going to pull the other one out. Now I got them both out. I'll put in the other one. I got my 4 screws here. Now before I fix this on to the car, I need to finish up the coupler box. Now, I buy Katie's because refurbishing all my all my rolling stock means a whole bunch of Katie couplers. So I buy these bulk packs, and these are the whisker couplers. They're like number 5s with self-centering whiskers. All right, and it's bulk pack number 148. All right, it's 25 pair of what looks to be number 14s. Okay, that's what I use. There are situations where I use some other specialized couplers, and that'll be another subject of a tip of the day. Okay, so let's pull out a couple KDs. I've gone through 3 sets of these bulk packs, all right, the last 6 months, updating my rolling stock. All right, I always check these because a lot of times in that bulk pack, they'll be missing the spring. Tiny little spring, and they'll be in the pack, they're just not on here, and they can be a challenge to do, but what I do with that is I'll lay the spring out and I'll use the tip of the knife to get between the springs, get it in there, and then get it on one of the points of the Katie coupler and push in to get it on the opposite point. Okay. Another fun fact for the day. All right, so now I put the Katie coupler in the pocket, grab one of the covers, make sure I have it the right way so that it closes down on the face, like that. And I have my screws and my tiny screwdriver. I did drill all these, right? Apparently I didn't drill this one. Oh, I only drilled for the trucks. I didn't drill for the couplers. The thing about these pin vise drills, they seem to be sharp and able to drill no matter which direction you use. Apparently. There we go. Let's try this again. Always works better when there's a pilot hole. It's one of those how not to's and then how to fix it that I talk about all the time. Lid. back that screw up just, there we go, a hair. If you over tighten them, it'll bind on the KD coupler. Let's do the other side. Remembering this time to drill it out first. These pin vices are pretty handy. Like $10 on Amazon. Next day delivery. Comes with a whole bunch of really small drill bits. And the drill bits you get for a drill at Lowe's, or there we go, Lowe's or Home Depot aren't small enough, and even if they were, trying to use real small bits in one of those will test you big time. Okay, that should do it. Get our KD in there, making sure the whiskers don't get bound. Of course, having a good set of jeweler's screwdrivers. I got two different sets, but having some good ones of these come in handy too. Again, back it off. There we go. Alright, I'll put the trucks on. Some longer screws. Okay, so for this one, we need to do one of two things. Okay. The way these are set, these screws aren't long enough. The other thing we can do, because these holes are much bigger than what the screws are on the top side anyway, before it gets to the base plastic that I drilled, I can either go with bigger screws or fill these and come back and re-drill them and use these. So for the sake of this demo, now we're going to use some bigger screws. That I just happen to have. It may be so big. Yeah, these won't. These bigger screws won't even hold. So, let me do. Come up with. Okay, I'm back, and here's what I came up with. I got some longer screws. All right, in comparison, here's the other two that I tried. And here's the one I'm going to use. I can always cut some off after the fact. So, all right. One side. That's the other side. Okay. So, and you probably won't be able to see the screws right there. They just barely came through. So as long as those were, they were the right size. I'm not going to trim any more off of them. So weight goes back in, all right, and the load. Now we have to measure it. I mean, weigh it. Whoop. All right, here we go. 3.6, which is identical to what this Burlington was before I added weights to it. So, using my handy dandy washers. One thing I didn't explain in tip number 24 when I showed the weighting on that Burlington, I did not mention to make sure you put the load, if the car's going to have the load on it, on the layout, make sure the load's back on it, on the scale, when you're reweighing it. Okay, so like before, adding 2 washers, boom, hits us at the optimal weight for this length of car, which again I showed in these are identical cars, just different road names. Okay, so the final step, well, not the final, but the final step for this tip of the day is adding these weights. And as I mentioned before, a little super glue. And spreading the 2 weights out over the trucks. Close enough. Alright. Got those 2. Put the load back on it. The only thing left is to check the coupler height. And if the coupler height's not right, then I'll cover that in another tip of the day. Well, I'll cover it in a tip of the day anyway, on how to adjust to make sure the coupler height's right. Alright, so another piece of rolling stock, 99% refurbished and ready for the layout.